Falls after 60 aren't weakness. They're muscles that stopped practicing recovery. You notice it in small ways first. Stepping off a curb takes a fraction of a second longer than it used to. Getting up from the floor requires a hand. You catch yourself scanning for handrails on stairs you used to fly up. Turning quickly in the kitchen, you plant your feet a little wider than you need to. You've been explaining this to yourself as age. It isn't. There's a man at Wudang Mountain who is 74 years old. He does the same morning sequence he's done for 40 years. 18 minutes. No gym, no equipment, no handrails. He descended a wet stone staircase in the rain last winter without breaking stride because the neural chain that coordinates every loaded descent in his body has been receiving a daily signal for 4 decades. He does not calculate steps. He does not grip handrails. His nervous system handles the negotiation automatically, the way yours used to before you stopped asking it to. The gap between him and you is not age, it's signal frequency. Before you dismiss that as too simple an explanation, consider what signal frequency actually means in practice. It means that the difference between a 74-year-old monk who descends wet stone stairs without hesitation and a 63-year-old who grips a handrail on a dry staircase isn't fitness, isn't flexibility, isn't strength in any conventional sense. It's the number of times per week their nervous system has been asked to hold a body under load, negotiate an uneven surface, and recover from a shift in weight it didn't initiate. The monk does this every morning. You stopped. And the nervous system, which is ruthlessly efficient, stopped dedicating resources to a chain it wasn't being asked to use. Here's the test. Stand 12 inches away from a sturdy chair. Fold your arms across your chest. Lower yourself slowly toward the seat. Stop 6 inches above it. Hold for 3 seconds. If you can hold that position without trembling, without dropping, without reaching for the armrest, your posterior chain is still receiving signal. If you drop the last 6 inches, or if your thigh shakes, or if you have to catch yourself with your hands, you found the gap. That's your baseline for the next 30 days. Write the number down. 3 seconds, 2, 1, 0, whatever you held, that number is going to change. The issue isn't that the muscles are gone, it's the signal. Your slow twitch posterior chain, the one that runs from your feet through your glutes and spine up into your shoulders, stopped getting signaled the moment you stopped asking it to hold you under load. The muscle fibers are still there. The motor neurons connecting your brain to those fibers are still there. What's missing is the conversation, the daily signal that tells the chain it's still needed. Walking doesn't ask it. Walking is momentum. Your body learned to let gravity and forward motion do the work. And the slow chain that used to catch you, that used to negotiate with uneven ground, quietly went dormant. Here's the analogy. A dimmer switch left at the lowest setting for 10 years. The bulb still works. The wire still connects. But the signal running through it has been so faint for so long that the first time you ask for full brightness, the filament stutters. That's what a near fall is. A filament stuttering, not a broken bulb. This is why walking more doesn't fix it. Walking trains the cardiovascular system beautifully. It does nothing for the signal that catches you when your heel hits a root. Neither does swimming. Neither does the gym, unless you're doing very specific, slow eccentric loading under clinical supervision, which almost nobody is. The standard exercise advice for men over 60, the kind that says walk 30 minutes a day and do some light weights, is cardiovascular advice dressed up as fall prevention advice. It addresses the wrong system. Wolf and colleagues at Emory University published this in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society in 1996. 200 adults over 70. They ran a controlled trial comparing Tai Chi to standard balance education. The Tai Chi group showed a 47.5% reduction in fall risk. Not 7%, not 12, 47.5. The standard balance education group showed almost no change. The monks knew this. They just didn't have the terminology. You're not fragile. Your nervous system stopped practicing recovery. Here are the 7 movements that restore it. The first is wave hands like clouds. Shepherds and farmers across northern China spent decades shifting weight laterally across uneven ground, one hip at a time. You stopped doing that when roads got flat and you started driving. Your lateral hip chain, the quadratus lumborum, and the gluteus medius, lost the signal to engage one side at a time. Lose that, and sidestepping to avoid a toddler or a dog becomes the moment your knee collapses inward. Research on hip abductor strength from Harvard Medical School has been consistent across more than a decade of Tai Chi studies. Sustained lateral weight shifting restores the signal to the gluteus medius faster than any isolated strengthening exercise because the signal is the point, not the load. You're not trying to fatigue the muscle. You're trying to remind the nervous system that the muscle exists and what it's for. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Bend your knees slightly. Raise both arms to chest height, palms facing you. Now shift your weight fully onto your right leg while both hands drift slowly to the right, as if you're smoothing a layer of cloud across the front of your body. Your left heel stays planted but goes light. Shift the other direction, left leg, hands drift left. Breathe out on the shift. You should feel the outer glute of the weight-bearing leg fire, not the inner thigh, not the lower back, the outer glute. If you feel it in the lower back, your hips aren't sinking enough. Week 1, 2 minutes. Week 2, 3 minutes. Week 3, 4 minutes with the knees bent deeper. Week 4, 5 minutes continuous without stopping to reset. If your knees don't tolerate the bent position, keep the knees nearly straight and exaggerate the hip shift instead. The lateral chain gets the signal either way. What matters is that each shift is complete, that your weight genuinely loads one leg at a time, and that you breathe out with each transfer. The breath matters. It drops the diaphragm, stabilizes the spine, and allows the hip to load cleanly without compensation from the lower back. A retired postal worker named Robert came to this movement convinced it was too gentle to matter. He had walked 12 miles a day for 28 years. His cardiovascular system was excellent. His slow chain had been dormant for most of that time because walking on flat sidewalks never asked it to engage laterally. 3 weeks into wave hands like clouds, he called it the hardest 2 minutes in his day. Not because it was painful, because his nervous system was doing something it hadn't done in decades. And the effort of restoring a dormant signal feels disproportionately large compared to the movement producing it. By week 6, stepping off curbs felt different. His feet were landing differently. He didn't know why. The nervous system doesn't announce its repairs, it just makes them. The second movement is repulse the monkey. Your ancestors walked backward constantly. They retreated from fires, from animals, from ledges. You haven't stepped backward with intent in decades. The neural map that coordinates a backward step, the one that tells your heel where the floor is when you can't see it, has quietly gone quiet. This is the signal that saves you when someone bumps you from the front and you have to step back without looking, or when you're reaching into a high cabinet and your weight shifts unexpectedly behind you, or when you step off a curb that's 2 inches lower than you expected. A 2019 review from Wayne at Harvard Medical School identified backward step training as one of the 3 most underused tools in fall prevention for adults over 60. The other 2 are lateral hip loading and single leg stance. This sequence covers all 3. Stand with feet hip width, arms loose at your sides. Raise your right hand forward to eye level, palm out, while your left hand draws back low along your waist. Now step your right foot backward, landing on the ball of your foot first, then slowly lowering the heel. As the right foot lands, your hands switch. Left hand rises forward, right hand draws back. Keep shifting. Keep stepping back, 1 breath per step. 8 steps back, then turn and come forward. Feel the back of your hip fire as each foot lands behind you. If you feel it in your calf only, you're rushing the landing. The heel needs to lower deliberately. That deliberate lowering is what rebuilds the proprioceptive map. Week 1, 8 steps backward. Week 2, 12. Week 3, 16 with eyes on a fixed point ahead. Week 4, try 4 of those steps with eyes closed near a wall. If your balance is shaky, hold a doorframe lightly with one hand. The signal still gets sent. 1 finger on a wall is enough to stabilize the vestibular system without bypassing the hip and ankle chain you're trying to train. The moment you grip, you've transferred the load to your arms and the practice becomes something else. Here's what repulse the monkey is actually training that nobody tells you. It's not coordination, it's confidence in the floor. Men over 60 who've had near falls describe the aftermath the same way. They become suspicious of the ground. Every step gets a fraction more cautious. The stride shortens. The head drops to watch the feet. That caution is protective in the short term and disabling in the long term, because the shortened stride and the dropped head create exactly the gait pattern most likely to produce a fall. Repulse the monkey rebuilds confidence in what the floor is going to do behind you. You stop flinching at the unseen step. That's not a metaphor. It's the actual neural adaptation this movement produces. A quick pause before practice 3. You might be wondering where to find this organized. Here's where it exists. The Western Monk Protocol is a 124-page PDF. It takes these 7 Tai Chi movements and embeds them inside a 30-day progression that includes the single leg work, the posterior chain reintegration, the evening mobility sequence that prepares your nervous system for the morning practice, and a shopping list of the minimal equipment you might want as you advance into week 3. It's the complete system behind this video. Eating protocol that supports slow chain recovery, sleep alignment that lets the motor units consolidate overnight, printable daily trackers, and the exact progression for the chair descent test you did at the start. Scan the QR code on screen. You'll have the full protocol in 60 seconds. The link is in the description. Now practice 3. Golden Rooster stands on one leg. This is the core fall prevention movement. Every fall you don't have in the next 10 years will be because this signal came back. Your ancestors stood on one leg constantly, crossing streams, stepping over roots, balancing on uneven paths. You stopped, and the moment the single leg stabilizer complex goes quiet, a stumble becomes a fall. A Journal of Gerontology study from the Oregon Research Institute ran adults 65 to 97 through 6 months of Tai Chi 3 times weekly. Single leg stance time improved by 15% across the group. For the oldest participants, those in their 90s, the improvement was even larger in proportional terms, which tells you something important. The signal hasn't decayed permanently. It's recoverable at any age. 15% sounds modest. In practice, that 15% is the margin between catching yourself on a curb and not catching yourself. It's the difference between the stumble that becomes a story you tell at dinner and the stumble that becomes a 6-week recovery. Stand tall, shift your weight onto your left leg, slowly lift your right knee until your thigh is parallel to the floor. Raise your right hand in front of you, fingers pointing up, palm facing left. Your left arm hangs relaxed. Breathe, hold the position. You should feel the outer arch of your standing foot gripping the floor and a deep stabilizing engagement along the side of your standing hip. If your standing knee is wobbling, the signal is arriving and the muscles haven't caught up yet. That's exactly what you want. Wobble is not failure. Wobble is the nervous system actively negotiating. Stay with it. Week 1, 10 seconds per leg. Week 2, 20 seconds. Week 3, 30 seconds with eyes open. Week 4, 10 seconds with eyes closed. If your balance collapses, place 2 fingers on a wall. Do not grip it. 2 fingers only. As soon as the wobble quiets, lift the fingers for 1 breath. The goal is to wean off the wall gradually, not to eliminate it immediately. There's a test within the test worth knowing about. When you stand on one leg for the first time and your standing ankle starts making small, rapid corrections, moving left, right, forward, back, tiny adjustments you never consciously initiate, that's your proprioceptive system waking up. Those micro corrections are the signal in real time. Younger bodies make them so fast and automatically that you never notice them. The goal of Golden Rooster is to bring them back to that speed and automaticity. You start by feeling them consciously. After enough practice, they disappear below the threshold of awareness again. That disappearance is the goal. When you stop noticing the corrections, the chain is back online. The 4th movement is parting the wild horse's mane. Your hip glute drive chain, the deep external rotators that power every step you take, went dormant when sitting replaced squatting. You lost the ability to drive through the hip instead of the knee. That's why stairs feel different now. That's why getting up from the floor has started requiring your hands. That's why you feel the effort of inclines in your knees rather than your hips. The knee is a hinge joint doing a hip joint's job, and it's complaining about the overtime. Sustained hip rotation under tension, confirmed across multiple biomechanics studies, restores signal to the deep 6 external rotators in a way that isolated bridges and clamshells cannot reach. The reason is specificity. Bridges and clamshells recruit the glutes in a fixed plane. Parting the horse's mane recruits them through the same rotational arc you use every time you take a step, which is why the carryover to walking and stair climbing is immediate. Start with your feet together, step your left foot forward into a modest lunge, weight distributed 60-40 between front and back. As you shift your weight forward onto the left leg, your left arm sweeps up and outward across your body, palm up, as if parting a horse's mane from right to left. Your right hand drifts down toward your right hip, palm down. Breathe out as you shift. Now step the right foot forward, sweep the right arm up. Feel the drive come from the back hip, not the front knee. If you feel it in the front quad, your weight shift is too small. Week 1, 5 steps per side. Week 2, 8 per side. Week 3, 10 per side, slower. Week 4, 12 per side with a pause at the end of each shift, held for 1 full breath. If your hips are tight, shorten the step and reduce the weight shift. The rotation chain still engages. A short step done correctly is worth more than a long step where the hip doesn't rotate. The 5th movement is single whip. Most men over 60 have lost the ability to move as one integrated piece. The fascia, the connective tissue that runs in continuous spirals from foot to fingertip, loses its spring when you stop taking it through full rotation. This shows up as the disconnected feeling where your upper body and lower body seem to operate independently. You rotate your torso and your hips don't follow. You reach overhead and your side tightens instead of lengthening. When that spiral stops working as a unit, compensations appear throughout the chain. The shoulder that aches for no reason. The hip that stiffens after sitting. The lower back that catches when you twist to look behind you while reversing the car. These aren't separate problems. They're the same problem at different points along the spiral. Stand with feet shoulder width, knees soft. Turn your torso to the right. Form a relaxed hook with your right hand, fingers drawn to the thumb, wrist bent, as you extend the arm out to your right at shoulder height. Now slowly rotate your torso to the left, your left arm extending out to your left, palm facing forward as if pushing slow water. Your feet pivot with you. Feel the spiral from your right foot through your right hip, across your back, down your left arm to your left palm. That's one continuous line of tension. If you feel it in your shoulder only, your hips aren't rotating with your torso. The sensation you're looking for isn't strength, it's connection. A mild, continuous pull from the ground up through the arm, like a telephone wire that was slack for years and is now taut again. When you feel that, you found the spiral. Week 1, 6 reps each side. Week 2, 8. Week 3, 10 with deeper torso rotation. Week 4, 12 with a 3-second hold at full extension. If your rotation is limited by a stiff lower back, reduce the range and keep the stance narrow. The spiral still recruits. Range follows awareness. It always does. The 6th is ward off and push. Your full posterior chain, from calves to upper back, stop talking to itself the day you stop carrying things over distance and reaching overhead for storage. When those links in the chain go quiet, your body starts falling forward in small ways. A little rounded, a little braced. That's the posture that predicts a fall on a curb. There's something else happening here that most people miss. When the posterior chain loses its integrated signal, the body compensates by gripping. You'll see it in the jaw, in the shoulders held up toward the ears, in the way men over 60 breathe more shallowly than they did at 40. The body is managing the loss of posterior support by bracing everything it can consciously control. Ward off and push is the antidote because it demands the posterior chain to do its actual job, which means the bracing can let go. Stand in a narrow stance. Raise your left forearm to chest height, palm facing your body, as if holding a large ball in front of you. Your right hand rises behind to support. Now shift your weight forward and slowly push the ball forward and slightly up. Your weight transferring to the front foot. Breathe out. Draw back. Weight returning to the back foot. Left arm retracting to guard. Feel a line of tension from your back heel up through your calf, your hamstring, across your lower back, up between your shoulder blades, through the pushing arm. That full line is the signal restoring itself. Week 1, 6 reps per side. Week 2, 8. Week 3, 10 with slower push. Week 4, 12 holding the push at full extension for 2 breaths. If your shoulder restricts the push, lower the height. The chain still engages. Focus on the sensation in the back heel and the space between the shoulder blades. Those 2 points bookend the chain. When you feel both simultaneously during the push, the signal is traveling the full length. By week 3, something else will happen during ward-off and push that isn't in any instruction manual. Your breathing will start to synchronize with the movement without you deciding it. The exhale will time itself to the push. The inhale will time itself to the drawback. This is the nervous system integrating the movement. It's the same thing that happens when a skilled driver no longer consciously thinks about the clutch. The sequence has become automatic enough that the brain has handed it to a lower order system. When your breathing synchronizes, you're close to that transition. The chain is consolidating. The 7th movement is closing form. This is the step most people skip, and skipping it costs more than they realize. 2 minutes of standing meditation at the end of the sequence, feet shoulder width, arms relaxed at your sides, palms lightly facing your thighs, eyes soft. You've just sent 6 different signals through 6 different motor chains. Closing form is where your nervous system files them. The science behind this is more concrete than it sounds. Motor learning consolidation, the process by which your brain converts a practiced movement into an encoded pattern, happens primarily in the window immediately following practice. During those 2 minutes of stillness, your cerebellum is actively comparing the movement commands it sent against the sensory feedback it received. It's error correcting. It's writing the updated motor file. Skip this window and go straight to coffee and email, and you lose a significant portion of what the previous 12 minutes built. Sleep does the rest overnight, but only if this pre-sleep consolidation window is respected. 2 minutes of stillness isn't meditation in the spiritual sense. It's a biological requirement for the practice to stick. What you'll notice during closing form, especially in the first 2 weeks, is a warmth that moves. It starts in the legs and rises. The quads will often pulse slightly. The calves may feel electric. This is normal and it's informative. The warmth follows the motor chains you just activated. You're feeling blood moving into tissue that has been receiving reduced circulation for years. Tissue that has been quiet. The pulse in the quads during closing form is the slow twitch chain consolidating the signal it just received. Pay attention to where you feel it. In the first week, it may be concentrated in one area. By week 4, it will have spread. That spreading is the signal integrating. Stand, breathe slowly, and feel whatever is present. Warmth, hum, a faint trembling. All of it is signal returning. Do this every morning. Here's the full routine in order. Wave hands like clouds, 2 minutes. Move directly into repulse the monkey, 2 minutes of backward steps. Rest 30 seconds. Golden rooster, 30 seconds per leg. Parting the wild horse's mane, 2 minutes. Single whip, 1 minute per side. Ward off and push, 2 minutes. Close with 2 minutes of standing meditation, 12 minutes total. After the full sequence, your legs should feel warm and quietly alive, not shaking. Your feet should feel rooted. That's the signal. Back online. Track it every morning for 30 days. The pattern emerges by day 10. You're not practicing balance, you're practicing recovery. And recovery is what keeps you upright when the world surprises you. 3 common problems. First, knees complain during wave hands or parting the horse. That's your quads taking the load that should be in the glutes. Sink your weight further back into your heels and widen the stance by 2 inches. The pain stops within 1 session. Second, the standing leg in golden rooster starts burning halfway through. That's the stabilizer waking up, not damage. 10 seconds is a win on day 1. Add 5 seconds per week. Don't hold through sharp pain on the outer knee or ankle. That's a signal to stop. Third, you lose balance entirely on repulse the monkey. Your backward step map is further gone than expected. Do the movement within a door frame, one hand available for a light touch. 8 weeks is a fair timeline to step away from the door frame. A fourth problem that doesn't get mentioned enough. You do the sequence once, Feel good, and then skip 3 days. The signal decays faster than you think. 3 days off in week 1 sets you back 5 days. Consistency in the first 30 days is worth more than perfection in any single session. 4 minutes of the sequence on a bad morning beats 0 minutes of the full sequence on a perfect morning that never arrives. The nervous system responds to frequency. Show up imperfect, the signal accumulates anyway. A fifth problem, specific to men who have been athletic in the past. You push too hard too soon and turn a practice into a workout. This sequence is not designed to exhaust you. If you finish it sweating heavily and needing to sit down, you've activated the fast twitch chain, which is not the target. The slow chain operates at low intensity, sustained over time. The moment you push into effort, the fast chain takes over and the slow chain disengages. Keep the movement slow enough that you could hold a conversation throughout. That pace is not laziness, it's precision. You're threading a signal through a specific neural pathway, and the pathway closes if you go too fast. Falls after 60 aren't weakness. They're muscles that stop practicing recovery, and now you've given them something to practice. 30 days from now, the test isn't just the chair. It's the moment you step off a curb you didn't see clearly, and your ankle makes the correction before your brain does. It's the moment someone walks into you from the side, and your hip absorbs it without your knee collapsing. It's the morning you realize you haven't thought about handrails in 2 weeks. Those moments are the actual measure. The chair test confirms the signal is there. The unremarkable day proves the signal is automatic. Go back to the chair descent test you did at the start, the one where you stopped 6 inches above the seat and held for 3 seconds. Test it again in 30 days. Expect the hold to go from 3 seconds to 10. Expect the tremble in your thigh to disappear. That shift is the signal completed. Tonight before bed, stand on one leg while you brush your teeth. 30 seconds per side. That's your golden rooster starter. Tomorrow morning before coffee, run the full 12-minute sequence once. One warning. There's a difference between a deep burn in the muscle belly and a sharp pinch in a joint. The burn is the signal. The pinch is a misalignment. Back off, widen the stance, and the pinch disappears within 2 reps. If it doesn't, that practice isn't for you yet. If this story changes how you view the weeds of aging in your garden, please subscribe to follow our channel. We are excavating the history and the biological truths that have been buried. Plant your future today. The next treasure of health and longevity will be revealed soon. Like this video to help others find their signal.